Hello, Sarah Sabin, Executive Leadership and Intuition Coach. And in today's video, I'm going to be asking you the question, how are you sleeping on yourself? So let me explain a little bit more, some context behind that question. As someone who is committed to improvement every single day, and as someone who has clients who are committed to self-improvement every single day, what you do every day matters. And in fact, it matters much more than doing something very intensively but sporadically. Now, I work with people that are already successful, but what we're talking about here is continuously working towards hitting new levels, not because it's coming from a lack of confidence or from a feeling of not being enough, but more because we are here to continuously expand, evolve, and push outside of our comfort zone because it's how we unlock more of our potential. Now, most of you listening are probably aware of the fact that things done consistently every day add up. So I'm going to just add a nuance or expansion on that. We need to, as well as looking at the key areas where we tend to be super focused or obsessed. For a lot of people that I work with, that's career/vocation and financial. We need to also be looking at how we are sleeping on ourselves in all areas of life. So you can refer to the video that I recorded around the 8 areas of life. But just to remind you what those are, we've got career/vocation 1, 2, financial, 3, physical, 4, mental, 5, family, 6, social, 7, passion, hobby, 8, spiritual, intuition, whatever language or bent that you want to use around that particular word, it doesn't matter. So, how we do one thing is how we tend to do everything. And when I say, where are you sleeping on yourself, I mean, where are you dropping the slack and in which area of life? Because if you tend to drop the slack too much in one area of life, it will start to have a negative knock-on effect on all of the other areas. So let me give you an example. You have decided that you want to take up this new hobby of sewing. Bear with me. You've decided it's something you want to do, you've committed to doing it, and 2 hours have passed since you've made that decision, and you've found a load of reasons why you haven't ordered the sewing machine yet, despite the fact that you actually have had the time to order the sewing machine. Now, you may say, what's the big deal there, Sarah? The big deal is because the longer you leave it, the more likely you are to forget about it, and then you start to sleep on yourself. So it can be a slippery slope. Once you have committed to do something in whichever area of life it happens to be, then go do it. Don't wait to do it. Don't plan for 5 hours before you do anything, unless it is really something that involves having to plan. Go do it. Now, I'm going to reiterate the why around this because number one, how you do one thing is how you do everything. You draw discipline, inspiration, and creativity from all areas of life, and you can bring it into work, financial, etc. The other thing that's happening here is that you are committing to yourself. You have made a decision, you have decided something is important in one of the areas of your life, and you have committed to seeing it through. This sends a very powerful message to your brain. And remember, belief systems are important because they influence your actions and behaviors, that you stick to your word, that you are committed to yourself, that you are important and an important factor in all of the other things that you have to think about during a day. And then let's say we go back to the sewing machine example. You buy the sewing machine, even on the days that you do not feel like sewing, because you've committed to it, you make an effort. So whether it's for 2 minutes, whether you sew for 5 minutes, whether you sew for 20 minutes, whether you go back to 2 minutes again because you hate sewing, you're like, oh, I'm not very good at it yet. It doesn't matter. It's the reinforced commitment of seeing this thing through. Now, if you can strategically think about all of the areas of your life and think about how you can add in just one thing that you are committed to because it is important to you, and then see it through, what will start to happen is, number one, you start to reprogram your brain, and you will find that you are happier, more fulfilled, more satisfied with yourself because you are following through on the promises that you make to yourself. And what happens when you get into a work context? You are starting to operate not from an empty cup, but you're starting to fill up that cup before you get into work so that you actually have the capacity to reach those higher levels of performance and potential.